If you are a beauty service provider and you're trying to figure out exactly how to make more money in your industry, whether you're a lash tech, a hairstylist, an esthetician, whatever it is, just know this is the exact video of how you can make $10,000 plus per month if you just follow these simple steps. Hi, I'm Naya. I'm the owner of Skin Aesthetics by Naya. As you can see, I'm in a little bit of a different setting. That is because I'm out of town. Now, this video was supposed to be filmed and posted since last week, June 13th, but I did have a photo shoot. This is a little clip of it just so you can kind of see that I was not lying. But I do want to kind of just introduce myself. Again, I am a licensed esthetician in the state of Maryland. I'm currently in Colorado right now, but I had to make sure that this video got posted because it was been supposed to be posted. That's not the point though. So if you see me looking down, of course I have my iPad right here. Now we're going to jump straight into section 1. With section 1, one of the main things I wish I knew when I first started was to pick a specialty, especially when you're in school. Even if you haven't gone to school yet and you're just like, oh, you know, I really love lashes. That's your specialty. If that's what you're passionate about, master it to the T. I promise you, this will benefit you so much more in the long run. I know right now it may feel like, you know, I learned so much, I know so much, whoop-de-woo, yada, 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 but I'm not making no money off of it. You have to understand that the best way to kind of position yourself in the industry, especially to gain clients, is make yourself seem like an expert. Even if you are an expert, show us. Why would I trust you? Literally, whenever you make your content or anything like that, or when you're trying to, you know, like strategize as far as your marketing or anything of the sort, always ask yourself, why would I choose you? And I promise you that right there, that question alone should be like the highlight of why you're producing whatever you're doing to gain your clientele. Section 2 is definitely stack your services. So let's say, for example, again, you're doing something like lashes. Your specialty is lashes, but I will always recommend doing something that complements lashes. Even with waxing. Waxing, I am a wax specialist, so something that will complement waxing that somebody would typically always get is brows. If I learn things like tints, laminations, things to enhance the overall appearance of your eyebrows, that's kind of stacking my services. And even just within waxing alone, let's just say, for example, you booked a Brazilian. On top of your Brazilian, I said, oh, you need, like, you know, you have a little bit of extra hair going in your inner thigh. I can add on an inner thigh. Now I just took a $65 services and I just doubled it. Like, you hear, you know, I just added on to it. And even with just the Brazilian, always think of something that makes sense. Like, for example, on my booking website, I have a service where it's called, it's literally just Brazilians and underarms. Because especially in the summertime, people always want to make sure that their underarms and their Brazilian looks good. Upsell. Again, this is where adding on those services come into play. This is where, like, if you sell retail, this is the perfect time to do so. I always recommend, when it comes to trying to increase your income as an esthetician, or even just a service provider in the beauty, or even just a service provider, understand what you sell, what you offer, have a good general idea of it, have, like, as long as you can describe it, why do you need that product, and what about this product will complement the service that I just got from you, or, you know, just anything like that. Let's say, for example, again, Brazilian. I know for a fact I can upsell you an inner thigh. I can upsell you a full leg. I can upsell you a full, like, buttocks, you know, wax or anything like that. I can upsell you on products because you need aftercare. If you're waxing and you're not taking the time to actually take care of your skin after the waxing, what's the point of you getting waxed? Now you have ingrowns, your skin looks a mess, you have hyperpigmentation, you have all of these bumps. I can play connect the dots. Who wants that? What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? So that's why things like upselling is extremely important to increase your revenue, and it also helps your clientele to feel as though, for one, you care. I'm never saying to be so very salesy. I'm always saying to just ensure that you're giving your clients the best results, and that's where that upselling comes in, because it looks like a half-ass job. Imagine you get a full Brazilian, you're bald, As soon as you get out of that, what is it, 3 to 4 finger inch of that Brazilian area, you turn into a werewolf. This is why I'm saying you have to upsell. Like, do you get the bigger picture here? Now, the next one you can do is kind of maximize your schedule. Like, let's say for example, you're only part-time like me right now. When it comes to content, I have a great understanding of exactly how much time I need to film, how much time I need to edit. All of last week I was working on my photo shoot, but I knew I had to get this video specifically uploaded. Honestly, I said it's cool. It is what it is. I know for a fact I have my talking points. I know what I need to talk about. So when I get out of town the following day, I'll just record what I can, which is just creating passive income. Your passive income looks like digital products, just things like memberships, anything to where it's like I can make money by doing this one thing without really having to put too much everyday time into that one thing. Again, you can create, if you're into lashes, you can create a ebook on how, or even just like a digital course where you can kind of sell it on your website. But I will say Acuity does have a spot where you can create and you can upload digital products as far as like creating a class or anything like that, like how to do lash analysis, even with skin, facials, brows. Like, there's so many different things that you can do as far as those digital products. But the main thing that I always recommend when it comes to any digital product is actually offer information, actually educate whoever is buying that product, because it's just so many people in the beauty industry that feel as though they can just get away with, oh, I'm gonna charge you $20, I'm gonna charge you $30, I'm gonna charge you $50, I'm gonna charge you $10,000, and I'm gonna give you very basic information just so you can get by. And if you don't know how to pick up this information, then it's your fault. No. The whole point of the esthetician industry is for you, for one, you go to school to pass state board. For two, it's called continuing education. Nobody is educated. Be the person who wants to educate. Spread the knowledge. Like, that's how you get further in life. I don't care what nobody says.
This is malarkey.
For things like trainings and mentorships, again, this is like your classes, like your digital classes, but instead of it being digital, you just have somebody come in person. Especially if you are somebody who is, you yourself is more of a hands-on learner. So let's just say, for example, you're a waxer and you have a lot of people inquiring about how you do said technique. You can actually charge people to teach them how to do that technique that you've learned yourself. You can always just show social proof. Social proof gives your clientele that you're trying to reach, it gives them a visual of the service that you offer. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the best when it comes to this, again, because I am a waxer. A lot of the services that I offer is really just Brazilians. So it's like, I'm not trying to put nobody's vagina. I'm not trying to put nobody's private parts on my social media. And I will say the one thing that really made me just be like, I get why I wouldn't do that, was because I was out with my friend and his sister was just like, I will follow you, but I just don't want no vagina popping up the second that I open my phone, or the second I open Instagram. And I get it, because it's like certain things I don't want on my timeline. Again, if you're a waxer but you also kind of specialize in brows, you can always post brow content. You can always post underarms, legs, anything like that. You can always post that type of stuff. A referral program. With the referral program, you can always just kind of make it, or even just like a loyalty program, you can always make it set up to where it's like, however many people you refer, that's always $5 off your next appointment, or you can kind of save it up to where you get a free appointment. You can add points for every person that they recommend, just something to where it shows you, your loyal clients, that you are appreciated, and I do thank you for going out to kind of help me spread my business and just the work that I do. And another thing that I always kind of like do when it comes to like my business or whatever is, will I accept this? Like, is this something that will satisfy me as a customer? That's a really big question to always ask yourself, is especially when you're thinking about running a deal, starting a new promotion, adding a new service, adding a new product, anything like that. Is this something I myself would truly enjoy? If you don't like what you're promoting, you're not going to want to do it. It's going to feel like a task. It's going to feel like something you just simply aren't up to doing. So always ensure this is something that I myself will enjoy, and I enjoy telling people about it. Go based off your analytics. If you don't have no analytics, that's when you refer to what you yourself would prefer, because you're going to always attract the type of client that you want to attract when you're doing something that you prefer, because at the end of the day, that's the type of person that you want. It's somebody that you know you will get along with, or will have the same preferences and will be in agreement with you on certain things. Section 2 is, like I said, is more so about taxes. I will say up front, I am not an accountant. I am not a tax professional, and everything as far as taxes always varies based off your state. It always varies based off your tax bracket, everything. There's so many nuances when it comes to taxes, but there are some good general rules to always consider. And of course, you know, if you need any resources or anything like that, I will definitely kind of link some books and different things like that that kind of help you with that process in my description as well. Or you can always go to my Amazon storefront, and there'll definitely be like a financial category in my Amazon storefront that you can always visit, or anything like that too. Hire a tax professional, because like I said, everything varies off so many different things as far as like the income that you have, how much money you make on like a consistent basis, how much money you need to be putting aside because of how much money you make. Then there is so many different write-offs. What genuinely qualifies as a tax write-off? For example, how I ordered the apron that has my logo on it, that can technically be considered a tax write-off under like apparel. QuickBooks, you can definitely download something like that where it'll kind of help you just categorize your actual expenses, and even just like your you know, just the money that's coming in, the money that's going out, and they give you like a good spreadsheet. So when you do find your tax professional, they can definitely kind of help you ensure, hey, this is correct, this is right, this is right. Another big thing is to keep your personal income as well as your business income completely separate. Get you a whole new account. Now, when it comes to your business income, you can always download things like, let's say for example, you're using Square. Square has a checkings account as well as like a savings account, but at the same time, things like Square, Blue Vine, I believe it's called NAV, like NAV, the credit solutions, they aren't considered physical banks. I live in the state of Maryland. Let's start there. I live in the state of Maryland. I put 30% of my income into my tax account. Again, if you're in the negative, a lot of the times you won't owe a darn thing. They will just act like you don't exist. But let's just say you aren't in the negative and you did make a profit that year. Having at least like a 30 to 50% in that account, and I know 50% sounds like a lot, but I'd rather you be safe than sorry. So having like that 30 to 50% is always like a great percentage. Again, this always does vary on your actual state. It varies on, you know, so many different things, but 30 to 50% is always just a great percentage to kind of be in when it comes to like your tax accounts. Do your own research. I'm not sitting here saying that nothing I say is law. The next one is definitely save for taxes monthly. Anytime somebody books a service with me, they book through Vagara, but my money is set for it to go straight into my Blue Vine account, which is my business checkings daily. Every week, my money is split up in my Blue Vine account in between those different accounts that I created, as far as like my payroll, taxes, supplies, you know, just that type of stuff. Yelp had, they were helping me set up like my ad platform. With them, I had to connect my card with them. Because my Blue Vine card is not technically a physical in-person bank, they wouldn't accept it. And that's the same thing with Square and that type of stuff. But if I had something, but because I did have like my Navy Federal credit, like my personal Navy Federal credit card, I was able to kind of just put that card on there just for the sake of, you know, I just needed to kind of get this ad started. You know, that these are just all things that come with any bank, you know, just depending on who you're banking with. Is know your deductions. Even if you yourself don't want to work with a tax professional, like I said, things like business dinners, the different apparel as far as like uniforms that you have, these are all considered deductions, but you do have to understand what is truly considered a deduction versus you just saying, hey, I went to brunch with my homegirl. She asked me if she could book a service. This was considered, you did that 15 times in a month. That wasn't business. The last two things kind of just like align with stuff that I previously said. One of them is you can file quarterly as far as like your actual taxes. This always just, again, depends on your state, because I do believe some states require you to file quarterly when it comes to your business versus others. I live in the state of Maryland. I believe my stuff is annual. Again, check your state laws. That's just something that I'm just going to keep saying when it comes to taxes, because I don't want to give you any bad advice. I am not an accountant. Last but not least, consider an LLC and an EIN number. An EIN number is employment identification number. Your EIN number is what you would use when it's time to start your banking solutions, things like that. Your LLC is what you would use for just making yourself a legal business. An LLC is a limited liability company. You also have things like corporations. These all are factors when it comes time to filing your taxes. All right, last but not least, we are in section 3. These are the best practices for how to stay long term as far as your success. Now, of course, creating systems. Have systems in your daily life that just work. I went and did a full week of just creating content. When I tell you, I really was able to kind of get an idea of what is the best system for me. Then as soon as I figured that out, classes started again. I'm not going to sit here and pretend as if like life doesn't happen and things change, but just having a general concept of how to process through things always help you get back on track, keep you consistent, and it keeps you disciplined. Well, I'm sorry, discipline is something you got to find yourself, but at least having those systems would definitely help with the consistency of things. So when you do choose to apply that discipline to it, it's no problem at all, and you're not struggling and fighting to stay consistent. Client retention over chasing your clients. I'm not going to sit here and act as if I'm the best person when it comes to this, because I just recently became more serious about knowing that I want to be a business owner. But I do know and I understand that client retention is everything. Client retention is it's how you make your income. If you can be doing, you can figure out 12 different incomes, but if you are a service provider, you ain't got no clients to service, then you ain't providing nothing for yourself. Like, that's just obvious. That's simple math. So one of the biggest things that you always have to remember is that client retention is everything. Customer service is everything. Ensuring that the quality of the service that you are providing is everything. There's so many different things that plays into that client retention. And just like I said, the quality of that service and your customer service is always going to be the biggest too, especially for me. The beauty industry, things change consistently. Like, let's just talk about hairstylists real quick, right? It was wigs, then it went to sew-ins, then it went to quick weaves, and you know what I'm saying? Then, the season changed, so we're back in braid season. Then as soon as the season changed again, we're going to be back in freaking silk presses. So it's just like, you got to remember, like, you gotta keep up with the industry. You gotta keep up with the things that's changing. You have to just keep up with what's going on in your industry, or you're gonna fall behind. Like, and I'm not gonna sit here and act as if like you need to be changing up your systems every single day, every single week, every single season, or nothing like that. I am saying that you have to adjust things to where it fits the trends. Like, let's say for example, you do silk presses and silk presses only. You can change the marketing of your silk presses to focus on the health, ensuring that the health of your hair is always great in braid season, because braids damage your hair. Because that's what's going to keep you at the forefront of people's mind. Because it's like, I know her specialty, like for me, I know her specialty is waxing, but we're going bareface this summer. I need to make sure that my skin look great. I do facials. You see what I'm saying? Like, just make sure that you're always, at the forefront of people's mind with your specialty though. Not saying that you have to change your specialty. Another thing that I will always say is definitely document everything. This is where that content comes into play. Show people the growth of not only your business, but just like you as a person. Like, people want to see the face behind the brand. People don't care about just like, oh, her work is great, but it's like, I'm not gonna say people don't care about that, but people do put more of an emphasis on who is going to be in my head. You know what I mean? Especially as hairstylists. Who's going to be touching my hair? How much do they really care about my hair versus just making sure they get paid at the end of it? Like, just document everything. Take pictures. Show us your progress. Record everything. We're nosy. And last but not least, mindset is everything. Mindset is everything. What about you makes me want to keep spending my money? That's it. It's change your mindset, show up, be consistent, and just be there for your clients, man. Like, that's all they want from you. If you like this type of content, if you want anything else like this, I do behind the scenes, I do vlogs, I do all types of stuff as far as like the esthetician business, as well as the lifestyle, or just the beauty industry as a whole. Like I said, I am in Colorado. I do have a vlog coming out. I have about 2-3 different vlogs of my time in Colorado, because I'm gonna be here for about 2 weeks. This is only my second day. Definitely go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, again, if you have any specific topics that you want to see from me, or just get my opinion on, go ahead and drop that in the comment, and I will gladly go ahead and get to working on those topics for you and get them videos posted. Thank you so much again for watching another YouTube video of mine. I truly do appreciate your support, and I hope to see you in the next one.